We have a CEO spotlight for you. We are spotlighting GRRR Technology. The stock has been on a tear. Check it out. The company has announced an AI energy deal with Thailand. Now some news in South America. And we see some big money coming as far as investments go. So joining me here on set, Chandan's with me, Chairman and CEO, GRRR Technology Group, and Renato Costa, CEO of BrasilInvest, Abu Dhabi Investment Fund. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Nicole.
Exciting stuff. I mean, I know that you had your milestone, a huge backlog as you were coming into 2025 for GRRR Technology. You're going to be talking about a huge investment, Renato, that I want to hear about. So first, Jay, just tell me how business is for 2025.
So first of all, thanks for having me here. This is, I think, the second time, if I'm not mistaken. GRRR has been growing at a very rapid pace. My 2025 numbers look very exciting. We're in fact looking to upgrade it this coming year. We were aiming to do about $90 to $100 million of revenue this year. We're upgrading that to about $100 to $110 million of revenue. But what is very exciting about GRRR today is that the very fact that we are not just focused on 25, we're focused on 26. And our backlog today is beyond, is more than 70% for 2026. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to create a sustainable business with long-term revenues and long-term contracts. And that's quite difficult, especially when you're looking at national cybersecurity infrastructures, national AI infrastructures for governments, and more importantly, building smart infrastructure for cities.
Right. For example, the smart grid that you have for Thailand, right, and providing power there. And Renato Costa of BrasilInvest, tell us about the exciting news this week. Huge investments coming.
Huge investments are coming. We already signed $100 billion to use in Americas, $20 billion for United States, and $80 billion for the Latin America, including Brazil. So we are very happy with this. So now we announced the Global Edge Worldwide Fund. That's a major fund with the Middle East investors. So we are so happy and with a great responsibility.
I mean, in huge projects that will modernize infrastructure, and GRRR Tech will be the prime technology provider, right?
Well, we've instilled a lot of confidence in Renato and his team. We're excited to be working with Renato, but what is exciting for us even more is that we get to work and build new economies. It's not just about investment, right?
Yes.
When Renato talks very passionately about this, it's not just about investments. It's about making sure that we can create impact and deliver value for those communities. And I think that's yes. Exciting, isn't it?
It's growth economy is more than just a fund. It's about helping people, help communities grow the economy. So it's not just about a fund. We have a division for early stage, and one big gap between investors and huge projects, amazing projects that we have. So we are more than just a fund. We are a financial mechanism for this.
Yeah.
It's interesting, too. I mean, I think it's, first of all, I love that you talk about the expectation of revenue being even higher than what we thought it was in the fourth quarter, because you had this backlog, and that in itself was the milestone of the revenue going forward. But you've already raised that number here, and the stock has been soaring up over 50% this year. When we talk about what you're doing with the company, I mean, I think of malware, cybersecurity. We talked about the smart grid. I saw AI video at the port, right? You could track the containers. I mean, these are the types of things, the business solutions, right?
Yes. So GRRR as a company today has evolved from being an edge AI specialist into a smart city infrastructure provider. AI for us is not just about delivering value to the customer, it's about creating value for the customer so that they can sustain their business for the next 20 years. So when I look at it from let's say, for example, the Thailand grid, it's not just about optimization, it's about protecting the future for the next 25 years. And I think that's where Renato's fund also comes in. GRRR is no longer just providing solutions, we're providing capital and solutions together. Now, we talked about, what Renato was alluding to as well, is we are going to work with Global Edge we're creating a $20 to $25 billion fund for Middle East, North Africa, which is a separate fund from the $100 billion which has already been invested. And we're also creating a $50 to $100 billion fund for Asia, specifically focused on Southeast Asia. And that it will invest into national infrastructure. So whether it's ports, seaports, smart city initiatives, grid optimization, railway networks, and so on and so forth. And GRRR will be the kind of the prime provider of contracts for all technology, if I may, for all these projects around there. We're earmarking anything between $20 and $30 billion for Thailand alone. And we're seeing that nation grow very rapidly. So what we are trying to do with Renato is something very unique.
I mean, sounds like we're getting closer to 200 billion because we had 20 billion in the U.S., 80 billion in Latin America,
That's
20 to 30 billion, Africa, and you just mentioned one more that escapes me. But I'm keeping up because
his aim is about 300 billion over the next 5 years.
So that's what I was saying. We're saying 100 billion, but we're just throwing the billions around.
And it's more than 100 billion.
It's more than 100 billion for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. How did you feel about all the DeepSeek news and the AI model when we learned the news from China? I don't know whether or not you believed it all.
Yep.
A lot of those tech and software related stocks sold off.
Yep.
How did you feel that day and what did you make of it?
I actually think DeepSeek is quite a, one, it's a useful tool. I've used it, I've played around with it. But more importantly, I do not believe what the market tends to believe, that it's going to kind of kill the overall AI evolution. I think it's going to push the AI evolution. In fact, I would see people starting to use bigger, better, more GPUs required. I'm seeing countries already coming to me and talking to me about, increasing their spend on data centers. And one thing which I can tell you today is between now and 2027, we are required to deliver between 20 to 24 data centers. Okay. Oh, yes.
Where will that be?
Across the world. It's in Colombia, Peru, Panama, United Kingdom, Egypt. Of course, we're building about 4 in Egypt right now. We'll complete 8 by the end of next year. And there's a few in Thailand and Malaysia as well.
So, I mean, this is all going to require so much energy. We're back to the billions, and what you're doing is providing value too. I mean, it's not just about the technology or the growth of the companies, but you're trying to provide value to the people that are, this is humanity here, right? This is your message.
Exactly what we are doing. So our partnership is exactly to join force with an engineering company, to join forces with the team, join forces with this amazing company of technology to grow this business and data center. So we are giving them the financial support for this.
Have you had to meet with other tech CEOs, U.S. tech CEO, like when we think of these big semi companies or those providing for data centers and infrastructure? Are you meeting with those folks? And what kind of CEO C-suite conversations are you having?
Currently, we're doing both. We're meeting CEOs in the United States as well as where we can actually build them.
Right.
As you
what
know,
are the trends? I need to know what they're saying in the meetings. Are they optimistic?
They're super optimistic, very optimistic. I personally believe there's a lot of investment that's going to happen over the next 5 years, especially in infrastructure. The U.S., especially under President Trump, is going to invest a lot of money into the region, and I believe that's going to be good for the country as well. But we're also seeing the U.S. support other countries as well. What people are not seeing behind the scenes is that the U.S. is actually helping support a lot of that growth initiatives in other countries. Like, for example, in Thailand, we have the UK and the U.S. support from the UKEF and so on and so forth. So it's behind the scenes. It's not pretty blatantly obvious, but it's behind the scenes. And we like that because that gives us confidence that when you have a government support and government like the United States and the United Kingdom, we can actually move forward. I think you've seen the One Amazon project which we recently signed, and Renato is a big investor in the One Amazon project itself. And what is exciting for us about that is we have huge government support in the United States. We're working with Goldman Sachs, for example. The CEOs of Goldman Sachs have come back to us and said, listen, we're going to push this forward.
And these big tech CEOs are the Fortune 500, the biggest of the big.
That's correct.
Final quick thought, Renato?
Yeah, so he told about One Amazon. For us, is one of the best and most important projects that we have. So we are committed with them, and we are investing $100 million at the project. And GRRR is with us, so it's very important. So we are here to join force, grow the business, grow economies, and help communities. That's our message.
Thank you both for being here. And Jay, thanks for coming back to the show again.
Absolutely.
Here on Schwab Network. We're so glad to have you back. And now breaking news with just the revenue growth, the data centers that are coming. You mentioned 20 to 24 data centers,
yeah,
right?
Probably more.
And maybe more by 2027. So we'll look for that data center growth as well. Thank you both for being here. And come back as you continue to grow and tell us more good news. Nice to see you both. Jay Chandan, Chairman, CEO of GRRR Technology Group, and Renato Costa, CEO of BrasilInvest, Abu Dhabi Investment Fund. Thank you both.